Hey everybody, it is Saturday at 1:24 in the afternoon and I am in the process of working and geocaching. The cool thing about my job is that it takes me out of my neighborhood to areas that I normally wouldn't go because they're a bit far from where I live. I'm down in San Jose in the Saratoga area currently. I got woken up this morning by an emergency priority 1 call for a printer malfunction that was happening at a location. So I went to bed at like 4 in the morning. So I got woken up, drug my ass out of bed, put on my clothes and head out the door, went there and fixed the problem in 15 minutes. It was a pain in the ass to have to go through all that for something as simple as fixing a fucking printer, but you know, when you gotta do your job, you gotta do your job. So I finished that and decided since I was in the area, I'd check and see if there were any caches, and sure enough, there were a bunch. So right now, I'm right out by the West Valley College, and I just did a cache there, which is across the street, or down the block and across the street from the Saratoga Library. There was one, and the weird thing about the Saratoga Library is you got the library building, and then if you go through the parking lot on the other side, there's a fruit field where they have all these trees and stuff, and they have pickers that are being paid to pick the fruit. So it's not normal to see that kind of like agriculture next to, you know, industrial, but unless of course you're playing Sim City, in which case it is absolutely normal. Anyway, so while running around grabbing the caches that I was grabbing today, I got another ticket asking me to go out to San Jose to look at another printer. So now I'm going to do that. So I figure since I'm in when I get into San Jose, I'll take care of this printer thing. It'll take me about 15 minutes at most. And then I'll do some more caches and I'll bring you guys with me. Not much else going on in my life. This is the most exciting thing I got happening. So that's, I think, the reason why the majority of the videos I've posted, or actually all of the videos that I've posted recently, are all about geocaching. I mean, there's only so much that I can say, and then everything else would probably be just bringing you with me while we look for the caches. I don't know if you can see it, but right here on my head, I think I have a scratch or something because I bent down to try and look for something and my head hit a sign. So yeah, it was like right across my skull. So I was scalped by a metal sign today. So keep that in mind, folks. If you ever think about going bald or shaving your head, there's a chance you could damage yourself just by bending over. Take that any way you want. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. Not much else going on in my life to talk about.
Turn left on Lawrence Expressway.
That would be my GPS telling me where I need to go to get to my next location. Alright, so I think I'll stop this here. If I can think of anything else that's worthwhile to talk about, I will. Thank you all for commenting on my videos. I appreciate it. I know I don't post much, but there's not much going on in my life, so that should tell you something. The reason why I'm now posting is because I've got something going on in my life. Yeah, so I hope you guys are doing fine, having fun. And I guess I will talk to you soon. All right. Hey everybody. So today I decided I'd show you what goes on behind the scenes for geocaching. What I mean is, whenever I've made videos before, I've always made references to this program that I use to help me find the caches and locate them. Even though finding them is the same thing as locating them, but I felt like I needed to express it twice as much so that you really got the idea what I was saying. So, what I'm going to show you now is the program I use when I geocache. It's called CacheSense. This is the program here. It's an Android application. Now, I don't know if they make it for iPhone 2. Chances are they do, but I got the Android version. And it's only got 6 icons. Those icons represent the different functionality of the program itself. Now, I don't use them all. I only use like 2 or 3 of them. Now, for example, you can see that there's one that's called Profile, so that lets you set up the profile. I use Compass and I use Map. Geocaches gives you a listing of all the caches that have been recently updated into the geocache list. Recent lets you see the geocaches that you've recently looked at. And Database, I'm not exactly sure what Database does. Let me go ahead and click that real quick and see what happens. Oh, it lets you choose which caches you're going to be looking at. So let me go ahead and go back here. Alright, so when I want to identify a cache to go after, I use the map. What the map does is it brings up a map overlay of the area, you know, basically a Google map or a Yahoo map or whatever. And you can see they got little icons. Those icons represent the geocaches and where they're located. So for example, we're sitting right next to one. So I'll go ahead and I'll click that. And it opens up the geocache itself. It gives you a little bit of information. The name of the cache, the person that placed it, the date that it was placed, the last time somebody found it, the difficulty of the cache, and the difficulty of the terrain. Basically, the difficulty of the cache is how hard it is to find, and the difficulty of the terrain is what kind of terrain you're going to have to deal with in order to find it. Now, for example, this one is in a parking lot of a shopping center, so obviously the terrain's not that difficult. And the difficulty of finding it is not that hard because it's supposed to be right out in the open. Now, I've recently looked for this because we're sitting in this parking lot. I've come here several times. This cache I cannot find. It's not where it should be. I've looked all over the damn parking lot for it. I can't find it, so you can see that I've posted a little can't find. Let me open it up here. So this is what it looks like when you actually pull up the cache itself. It gives you a bit of information about it, and on the bottom, it usually gives you information about the location of the cache. This one talks about the fact that it's a typical parking lot cache, it's not too difficult to find, yada, yada, yada. You also can get the different log entries for people that have looked for it, whether or not they were successful, and you can see at the top here is the one with the little blue face, which means it wasn't found. I did not find it. And basically, I said I looked all over the place. I couldn't find it. You can see other people have found it as well, as well as the date that they found it, and a little information about the actual exploration. Sometimes they'll give you a clue. Sometimes they just talk about the fact that, you know, hey, I looked around, and I went here and I went there, or I stopped by for lunch, or I was on my way to my grandmother's house, and I just happened to grab this cache, what have you. Other options that are listed here are field notes and images. Basically, those are just different bits of information you can add to the cache search process. So this is the program. This is what I use when I'm looking for different geocaches. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the cache that I fell in the mud, and I'm going to show you guys where I fell in the mud, and then hopefully we'll find this cache together today. So that's just a little bit of an example of what the software looks like. If you do decide to get the Cache Sense software, it took me about 15 minutes to sort of get a hang of how it works. Because, you know, you got to set it up, you got to sign in, you've got to put in your profile information, and then once that's done, you get direct access to the program itself. Now, the program on the App Store costs $5. Now, they have a free version of it, but the options of what the program can do are limited because you're getting the free version. So I sprang for the $5 and I got it. I also ended up paying the $30 for the geocache website, which gives you access to geocache paying member caches, and a couple other features that the website offers. You can get onto the forums and interact with other users and the like. So you don't have to. You don't have to sign up onto the website to do it. You can do this all for free, just by downloading the free version of the software and then signing up on the website without actually paying for the profile. And you don't get the extra bonus caches, but that's okay. You still get the caches that are there. So we're going to go to that location. I'll show you where I fell in the mud, and then we'll see if we can't find it and I get revenge for what it did to my clothes last time I was there. All right, so we'll see what happens. Okay, it doesn't show that it's recorded. There we go. Alright, so I'm back at the location that I was at, and it looks different than the last time I was here. You're going to look at this and you're going to say, how the fuck did you think you were going to be able to cross that? Let me see if I can zoom in here, hold on. You can see it's got a little, the creek is actually full up. If you look right across there, that was the point that it brings me to with the compass. Now, there was not this much swamp when I was here last. That was all, that's the plateau I was talking about, and then on the other end there's a mud bank that goes down. It was in that mud bank that I got stuck, but I ain't walking the fuck down there, especially when it's this high. That's fucking crazy. I had no idea that it was going to be like this. So anyway, just to give you an idea of the swampy area, just to give you an idea of the swampy area that I fucking was stuck up to my knees in. This is basically it. I'm not going any closer. It's dry, nice and solid right here, and then you get down there and that's where it's swampy. So fuck that, I'm not wearing waders, I'm not going the fuck in there. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to show that to you. Now we're going to go to the other side and start the process of tracking down this cache. Alright, so now I'm on the other side of the water. Let me show you. That was the side that I was on just a second ago over there. Okay, there we go. Now I'm over here. This is the location that the compass brings me to. It's right here. And this is where I was trying to get to. There's the compass pointed, and I thought that it was going to be down here somewhere. And as you can see, there's no real way, I mean, there's no real way to get down there. And when I was here, this water was not here. This what you see was not here. So that's why when I looked across, I saw that there was that plateau, and then there was a mud bank that went down, and then I could cut across because the stream was really, really thin. I was going to be able to just, 1-2 steps across the water, and I'd be able to come across on this side, climb up, and get what I needed to. So over there, roughly right about there, is where I fell in the mud and was stuck up to my knees. All right, so now the geocache information says that basically it gives you information about the area, and then apparently there was a historical event that happened here, and there are 3 clues that are a part of it. I haven't read them yet. I'm going to, but I do know that what it says is that I'm supposed to head in that direction because I can see there's a flagpole down there, and I remember making a reference to going towards the flagpole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the instructions, see what it says, and then I'm going to go forward, and from there I'll record and see where it takes me. So let's see if we can actually find this fucker and I can get revenge for the mud that I got engulfed in. All right. Okay, so I've gone to 2 of the 3 locations looking for this fucking thing, and I haven't been able to find it. The first one was just a few feet from where I originally videotaped, but because the water was so high and the level was kind of funky, I wasn't going to risk getting stuck in the mud again, so I said, no, that's probably not it. I went to the next location that's listed. I had to follow the GPS coordinates, and it led me to the middle of an intersection. So that probably isn't it. So I've got one other one that I'm going to try and see if that's it. And if not, then chances are it was the first one, and I'm not getting in the mud to find a fucking geocache. So let's see if this one is the right one. It's only a few blocks from here, if I'm reading these coordinates correctly, and hopefully we'll be able to find it. All right. So I'm at the 3rd location, which ironically, let me show you, is, I don't know, probably about 50 yards or 60 yards from where I was when I started this fucking adventure. It's wacky. So over here is where I started. Okay, ironically, there's even a football. Look at that, talking about here's where I started, right? And over there is where I got stuck in the mud. Now, you can't see it from here because it's kind of far away, but I went to another location, which is like, I'd say probably about 15 blocks from here in my car, and that was the middle of the intersection. So here we are. Let me just show you again so you get a clue. Here is where I started. Walk over here. Here's where I started. And if you come over here, this is the final location. I should have checked this one first, but I had to go step by step. I don't know if you guys can see it, but if you look in there, you should be able to see, get off the fucking thing, a hide key. That is where it's at. Ran around like an idiot just to find out that it was 15 to 20 feet away from where I was fucking at before. So let me grab it here. Hold on. There it is. So you've come on me with yet another adventure. So yeah, there you go. Just thought I'd show that to you. The place that I got engulfed in mud. Finally, revenge. Finally can finish this one off. Anyway, so yeah, just wanted to show you guys the adventure that I went on. Sorry I didn't show you the second location. I should have pulled out my camera. I wasn't thinking at the time. And I'm going to sign this and I'm going to mark it off my list. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Hey everybody, so I am on another geocache hunt, and this one is a little bit more complicated than the normal ones because I actually have to go to several locations to find the cache. Now, if it was just a matter of going to the coordinates and then moving to the next one, then this wouldn't be something I want to record. But this one is a bit different because the coordinates have to do with information that's either on a headstone or on a plaque. This is a Civil War graveyard. Let me show you. This is a graveyard that has Civil War members that have been buried here. I mean, they got graves that go back past the 1800s, so I'm going to show you that. But I'm going to take you step by step through this with me, and hopefully together we'll find this cache. Now, I tried this once the other day, but I had an emergency pop up, so I had to stop and I was just at the very first thing too, so I didn't get that far into it. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to stop recording, read the hints, write down the answer, then I'll start recording and move to the next place, and so on and so on. So you're gonna go with me on this one. This is definitely unique, and hopefully we'll be able to find the cache. All right, so let's see what happens. Okay, we made it to the first landmark, which is this graveyard here, this gravestone here. You can see it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but let me get up close here. This one was to the memory of William Wallace, inactive of Denmark. He died June 8th, 1877, aged 53 years old. So this is the first landmark that I was told that I had to find. When I originally started looking, I was looking over there. That's where I was at. I missed it by just a few feet. And then that's when the emergency happened and I had to run off. So we made it to step one. We made it to this landmark. So now I have to copy down some information from this headstone and move on to step two. So let's see where that leads me. Alrighty, so I moved through a couple of them quickly because there are some people in the graveyard. I didn't want them to see what I was doing. But check this out. This is a Union soldier. Let me come over here so you can read what it says. I don't know if it'll be clear for you. To the memory of California's patriotic dead who served during the war for the Union, mustered out. You see that? And then if you look at the top, there's a Union soldier. This clue led me to this location. You can see they got headstones all along the outside of this location here. Goes all the way down to the other side. So this is actually step like 4 or 5 in the path to find this geocache. But this is definitely a cool graveyard. Check it out. It's right by the street that leads to my house, but it actually goes for a little ways. You can see that there are headstones and grave markers all over this location. So I just thought I'd check it out. If you ever come into Northern California in the Bay Area, it's in between Redwood City and Woodside, off of Woodside Avenue. So if you get off of 101 and take Woodside Avenue going towards Woodside, you'll see it on the right-hand side of the road. So it's the Union Cemetery. You can't miss it. Anyway, I'm on to the next step. Let's see where it leads me. All right, I found it. Following the instructions and the hints, I was able to wander through this cemetery and find it, and I found it. So now I'm going to sign the paper, which I have right here, and put it back. So you came with me on a wacky adventure to find a geocache in a graveyard of all places. I know it wasn't exciting as actually coming with me, but I had to actually use my compass. That's why I couldn't record with this, and I didn't want to pull out the phone or the other camera because I would have needed 3 hands in order to do it. But anyway, so yeah, just thought I'd share that with you. You guys came along with me on this one, and I'll catch you all later.